Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting informed, maybe with a few surprising facts along the way. Today, our mission is exploring the causes, often really devastating causes, behind floods in the United States, specifically since the year 2000. We've gathered quite a stack of sources, historical lists, recent news, trying to give you a clear picture.
Yeah, it's definitely a big topic. And floods, they might seem simple, right? Just too much water. But what the data keeps showing us isn't just that there are multiple causes, but the sheer speed and intensity seem to be ramping up, especially when, our infrastructure or maybe land use makes things worse. So we'll try to distill those main mechanisms. Okay, so looking at U.S. floods since 2000, our sources point to really four main categories of causes. You've got excessive rainfall, excessive snowmelt, storm surge, usually from hurricanes, and then dam failures.
Mhm.
Each one is powerful, and they often interact.
Right, that framework immediately brings things in focus, especially with recent events. Let's unpack excessive rainfall first. That feels, well, incredibly relevant.
Absolutely, it really does. Let's take the recent tragic Texas floods from July 2025. The sources, the details are pretty stark. We're talking 4 months of rainfall came down in only 4 hours in some parts of central
Oh,
Texas.
months in 4 hours. That's
Yeah.
hard to grasp.
It is. And the Guadalupe River, it jumped an incredible 26 feet in less than an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. So this wasn't just, a heavy shower. The sources say it was a moist tropical air mass combined with a slow-moving storm system. Basically, a very efficient rainmaker just sitting there. And what's really telling is that even the forecasts, they did not predict the amount of rain that we saw. It just shows how fast things can get out of hand.
That sudden intensity is definitely
Yeah.
one major factor. But, our sources also highlight other ways floods happen, maybe slower or from different triggers.
Hmm.
What else really stands out?
That's a key point. Extreme rain is huge, but floods are rarely just one thing. We also see major impacts from, other causes. Take storm surge. Hurricane Katrina back in 2005. It wasn't just the levees failing, though that was critical. The massive storm surge literally forced the Gulf of Mexico miles inland. It just overwhelmed defenses designed for, frankly, less water, and, 80% of New Orleans ended up flooded for weeks.
Right, the sheer force of the ocean moving inland.
Exactly. Then there's excessive snowmelt. Look at the 2011 Missouri River flood. That wasn't just a heavy snow year, although it was. It was the rapid melting of a massive snowpack up in the Rockies. And that melt, combined with heavy spring rain hitting ground that was already soaked, result major river flooding for months across several states.
So it's slower buildup, but just as devastating over time.
Precisely. And the fourth category, dam failure. The Kōkō Reservoir in Hawaii, 2006. You had prolonged, heavy rain pushing an older, maybe not perfectly maintained dam past its breaking point. Tragically, it swept away homes, caused fatalities. It really highlights infrastructure vulnerability.
Okay, so we have these intense downpours, massive storm surges, melting snowpacks, failing dams. When you pull back and look at all these causes from the sources, what's the most critical sort of overarching takeaway?
Well, what's fascinating and maybe a bit sobering is how often it's a perfect storm of conditions. Not literally always a storm, but, a convergence. U.S. floods since 2000 really show this pattern. You get intense rain, but it's often made much worse by other things, maybe a tropical system feeding it moisture, or that rapid snowmelt, or like we saw, infrastructure failing. The real insight, I think, is how many of these natural disasters are increasingly shaped by where extreme weather meets human systems and vulnerabilities.
That really drives home the complexity, doesn't it? These aren't just isolated acts of nature. They're part of this bigger dynamic interaction between weather, the environment, and, yeah, us, our systems.
Exactly. And this leads to, I think, a really important question for all of us. As these intense, sometimes unpredictable weather events seem to become more frequent, how does understanding these causes change how we prepare, how we think about living with water in the 21st century?
That's a powerful thought to end on, something we definitely need to consider. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the causes of U.S. floods. We hope you'll keep thinking about the implications of these incredibly powerful forces.